today is a national day of mourning, remembering the victims of the Bondi terror attack. The light will win is the overwhelming theme for today. Joining me now is the New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies Chief Executive Michele Goldman. Michele, in the studio, great to see you. What do you want Australians to think about today, and what should this day be about?
Yeah, so this is a day of light. It's built off the idea of the festival of Hanukkah, which is all about light, but it goes beyond any one faith. And I think it goes to the universal belief that the way to confront hate, to confront darkness, is with kindness and compassion. So today is about people remembering and mourning the precious lives that were lost, and also to stand up as one, unified against hate and prejudice.
What is a mitzvah, if you could explain that to our audience, and what would you suggest in the way of a mitzvah today?
A mitzvah is a beautiful thing. It's an act of kindness. And so
Small or large?
as small as you need it to be. It could be just a kind gesture or word to someone. It could be helping someone across the street. It could be visiting a neighbour. And so we're really encouraging all Australians to shine a big, bold light today by doing an act of kindness, whatever is right for you. I've committed to keeping an eye out for anyone who needs a hand squeeze or a gentle hug and warm embrace.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a requirement for both of those today on many fronts. I think they could have done with a few mitzvahs in Canberra this week. It has been a willing week. It has been one, I think that, there's been kind of this bipartisan failure to meet the moment after the Bondi terror attacks. Would you agree with that? And what is your message to our politicians from here on in? There's always going to be political fights on policy, but when we talk about this coming together, what does that look like for you in Canberra?
Look, we've just seen a deliberate attack on the Jewish community, but it's been an attack on the conscience of our nation. And an attack on one community is an attack on all. So we've needed deliberate, decisive action by our national leaders. And the hate reforms, the gun laws that have been passed is a very important first step. Laws alone are not enough. We need to see them enforced and consistently, and it needs to be part of a broader response. So we need to see leadership across our nation, government leaders, leaders of institutions, universities, arts organisations coming together and being consistent in having a no tolerance policy towards hate or violence of any nature.
Michele, what's your view? Because this has actually caused a political earthquake in Canberra today. The coalition have split. We've seen mass resignations from the Nationals over hate speech laws. They are, for want of a better term, uncomfortable with them. What do you say about where free speech starts and hate speech begins?
Yeah. Obviously, in a democracy, it's a fundamental pillar to have free speech, but it does not give people free license to spread hate or to incite violence. And I think, safeguarding our civil liberties and safeguarding human life don't need to be opposing goals. And a healthy democracy can and should do both of those things.
I think what it comes down to is who says what hate speech is. I mean, your view will be very different from someone else's. Do you appreciate the difficulty with all of this, and that, this runs deep in terms of moral clarity for people?
Yeah, look, this is a very complex area, and the big debate is where do you draw the line? Yeah. But we have to have these uncomfortable conversations, and we have to work through them, because we can see what happens when we can't reach a resolution. And we've seen rising anti-Semitism over the last 2 years. We've seen the spread of extremist ideologies. We've seen people being radicalised, and it's ended in this awful attack at Bondi Beach, the worst terrorist attack this country has ever had. But there have been countless, hundreds of incidents happening in all areas where people are spending their lives, in school classrooms and playgrounds, across university campuses, everywhere. So we need to work through the complexity and resolve it, because otherwise, hate unchecked, we've seen where it leads.
Yeah, and we see it that it's often can be under the cover of darkness, or something that's quite insidious, as you say, in schools and universities, and even this awful example in Melbourne directed at teenagers. But Michele, light will win. Positive day today. It's great to see you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.